Sports Star. This is a special episode, and we have our special guest with us, former India cricketer, former national, selector, Mr. Saba Karim. And it's so good to have you, Sabada. I mean, that's how I call him for a long time. So, yeah, Sabada, first things first, what are your thoughts about the Asia Cup squad that has been picked for India? Do you think that, what are your assessment about the team?
Well, the balance looks fine to me, and I guess that the selectors have kind of zeroed on the core players of the side. There are obviously a couple of niggles here and there due to injury. Keeping that in mind, the selectors, along with the team management, I believe they have built a strong bench strength. So, in case there is a need, once the World Cup team has to be announced, that they can bring in any of these players who are right now on the bench and they can become part of the 15. I quite like the balance. I think for the Asia Cup they have picked an extra spinner, but I don't think you'll have the luxury of 4 spinners in the squad for Australia for the T20 World Cup. I'm sure they would like to add one more seamer in the squad. Then you'll have 4 seamers in the 15 plus Hardik Pandya as your 5th seam bowling option. So that will give a pretty strong look to the current Indian lineup.
Absolutely. So, do you think that obviously Mohammad Shami is not part of the Asia Cup squad? Do you think that he's a sure shot candidate when it comes to the T20 World Cup? Like you said that we are missing one extra seamer. So, do you think that that's an obvious choice, or do you think that somebody else could also just replace Shami?
I don't think, Shan, that is an obvious choice at all, because right now, if you see, so they have picked 3 youngsters. In the 2 youngsters in the mix, and they've got Deepak Chahar in the standby. So obviously they're looking at these 3 seamers getting in if in case it is required. Right now you have Jasprit Bumrah and Harshal Patel out because of injury. These 2 will come back once as and when they are fit. So I don't see Mohammad Shami as an option as of now. But in case Jasprit Bumrah does not recover from his injury, then I see a strong possibility of the selectors looking again at Mohammad Shami, more so because he's such a lethal new ball bowler. And he would be an ideal candidate to replace Jasprit Bumrah. But as of now, I don't think the selectors have Mohammad Shami in their mind for the World Cup T20. That is my opinion.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting observation. As a former selector in your time, I'm sure you people had to take a lot of tough calls. That's what the job is. Imagine that you are a national selector. What would be the one thing that you think could have been done better in the Asia Cup squad, or do you think, like you said, it's a balanced squad? Any particular area that perhaps going forward needs to be a little tweaked on?
Not really, Shayan. As I said, I'm quite happy with the balance of the side. There are obviously going to be some tweaks here and there. As I said, instead of an extra spinner, they will get another seamer in the 15. They have done well by keeping Deepak Hooda in the squad, because Deepak Hooda gives you so many options. He can open the innings, he can bat down the order, he can bat number 3, number 4. He's also very handy with his right arm off spin. By picking him in the 15, they have provided a cushion not to have an extra opener in the side. So that is why you don't see Ishan Kishan, because all these 2-3 players who are in the squad can double up as an opener. So I'm talking about Deepak Hooda, even Rishabh Pant can do that. And because of Deepak Hooda's inclusion, they can still persist with Dinesh, Karthik and Rishabh Pant in the 15. However, having said that, I do believe in the 11, Rohit Sharma will have a lot of thinking to do. Whether to keep Dinesh Karthik in the 11 or to have Rishabh Pant in the 11. That is a call which they'll have to take. If Rohit Sharma wants to persist with this 5 bowlers in the 11 and have 6 regular batters in your team.
And very interesting thing that you raise here, Sabata, is because also another very important fact is the conditions are going to be different, obviously completely different than what in Dubai and Australia. So if you are thinking long term, Rohit clearly has a lot of thinking to do. But do you think in a realistic format, in keeping Australia in mind, obviously Asia Cup is a key tournament, but do you think that both Rishabh and Dinesh Karthik can be persisted in Australia, because the conditions and, like you said, you will have to have one extra seamer. So keeping that in mind, do you think that going forward that's actually a doable thing?
Well, they can obviously keep them in the 15, but I do have my doubts about the 11, going by the kind of combination Rohit Sharma has gone ahead with. If you want to play both these batters in the 11, which means that Hardik Pandya becomes a fifth bowling option. Now, Rohit Sharma has so far resisted in doing so. He believes to have five bowling combination, and then he wants to utilize Hardik Pandya as the sixth bowling option. But having said that, there is a strong possibility because more and more we see that Hardik Pandya can bowl his 4 overs. But at times, especially in conditions in Australia, you want to have one backup bowler. That is why I like this kind of composition where you have five bowlers plus you have Hardik Pandya. So that's a hard call which Rohit Sharma has to take because you see Rohit opens with KL Rahul. Number 3 is Virat. Number 4, in my opinion, is Rishabh Pant. Then number 5, on the number 4, number 5, it can either be Sky or Rishabh Pant, and then you have Hardik Pandya. And if you have 5 bowlers coming in after that, then there is no place for another keeper in the 11. So that's a call which Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid will have to take when they sit in to pick the 11.
Right. And Sabana, another very important topic of discussion is definitely Virat Kohli, because the next few months are going to be very crucial for him, starting with the Asia Cup. He has had a fair amount of rest, and at a time when there's so much of competition for one slot. I mean, what do you think this Asia Cup means for Virat Kohli? How crucial is this for him? Because he's had a significant amount of rest, and obviously there have been two schools of thought. One thought that rest is not that important. You play, the more you play, you return to the form soon. And what's your thought on the entire thing?
I think it is a critical phase for Virat Kohli's career, especially in the shorter format. And on his own, he would love to come back in roaring form and get some runs for his side. Made some more match-winning contribution. It's not the amount of runs; it's his approach and the way he. I think the selectors and the team would love to see him take the opposition apart, and that is what his intent would be. And one saw that glimpses of that in the recently concluded India England T20 series. Although he didn't go on to score some big runs, but if that is the approach and we can convert that into decent amount of runs for his side, I think that will really boost India's confidence. Because come the World Cup, you need someone like Virat Kohli to fire and to deliver his best performance. That also match winning contributions.
No, actually, another very interesting or bizarre, I don't know how to put it, is a very situation that we are in is that, after a long time, Rahul Dravid will finally get to a long-term assignment with a captain, because ever since he took charge, there's been a musical chair of sorts when it comes to the captain. So do you think that this Asia Cup is also a long-term, like ahead of the T20 World Cup, is also a plan or a platform for both Dravid and Rohit to come together and actually prepare what are the areas they need to address ahead of the T20 World Cup? Because an ICC tournament is something that we have not been able to clinch a title. It's been almost 10 years.
Yeah, well, they have already done that, Arsha, and that's what I feel. And it is expected from someone like Rahul Dravid. He's that kind of a character who wants to address the issues. And Rahul was quick to understand the failings in the previous World Cup T20, and that is why you see the intent is so refreshing now from Rohit Sharma and the rest of the side. So Rohit Sharma has set the tone for his side. This is the kind of template everybody has to follow. Not only Rohit Sharma himself, but the rest of the batters coming through the order. Because he believes that one has to evolve with the demands of T20 cricket, and that is what one has seen in the past, what one has seen in recent past from India's approach in T20 cricket. That is why I said it is so refreshing to see this, and I hope that, and I think this will be a great opportunity for Rohit Sharma and his team to put that in action in the Asia Cup and take it forward. For the World Cup also, because that is the only way you can impose yourself on the opposition side. Come what may, whether the ball is seaming, whether the ball is spinning, whether there's slowish surface, you need to have that kind of an attitude to put some pressure on the opposition. So I think all that is good boding for Rohit Sharma and company, and I believe that India would be well served if they follow this kind of a path.
Just a couple of more questions, Sabata. Do you think that KL Rahul's coming back and of course he'll be leading the team in Zimbabwe? What kind of an impact that's going to have on the team? Because KL hasn't been like because of injury he has missed out quite a bit after the IPL. So him coming to the form and coming to the action, how much of a significant does it mean for the Indian team for the Asia Cup and definitely leading up to the T20 World Cup?
Well, he remains a crucial player for India in all three formats. And KL Rahul return to India's side will actually bolster India's chances. Both Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul at the top needs to provide that kind of impetus to the side scoring chart. And I sincerely believe that KL Rahul has those kind of credentials. It is a matter of time for KL Rahul to come good. We'll have to be more patient with him now since he's coming back after a long layoff. So I think this India versus Zimbabwe series will be a good platform for him to get back into action and get back into good form. But yes, both Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul at the top, they would be an ideal opening pair to set the tone for India.
And lastly, if I may break it into two parts, is that do you see any major changes for the squad for the T20 World Cup? Because you see some changes here and there. I mean, do you see Ishan Kishan coming in? Is there a possibility? And also, how do you see the fact that we haven't had we haven't clinched ICC title for almost 10 years. And how do you see that mental challenges? And obviously, Paddy Apter has been added to the side. You have being a player yourself, being a former selector, you have seen how these things go. So, do you think that this was a right move? And what are your, how can the team build from here?
See, Shayan, I feel it is important for the team management to ensure that all the players whom they have in mind who will play in the 11 or who will be in the 15, for them to be in peak form and peak fitness. That's the kind of work which the coaches and the support staff will have to ensure, because now we are left with only about 12 games if you make it to the Asia Cup finals. You have the home series against Australia and South Africa, and before that you have the Asia Cup. So we don't have so much time on hand. So India would like to play most of its core players so that they remain in form. Also give them adequate rest so that they are, in terms of fitness, they are fresh and ready to go for the World Cup. So India will have some worries, especially because of Jasprit Bumrah and Harshal Patel. They will love to see both of them back in the 15. So there will be some kind of trepidation at this stage. Hopefully, I think once Jasprit Bumrah and Harshal Patel are fit, then I think India would be pretty comfortable going into the World Cup. But yes, as I said, I think this Asia Cup is a brilliant opportunity for India to reiterate that the kind of approach they have adopted can yield result. So there's a lot to look forward to for the Asia Cup, because that will be like for me, it will be like a curtain raiser for India's preparation for the World Cup.
Savada, thank you so much for your time, and we all hope that India defends the title. Of course, it's a different format this time. And just a parting shot, obviously a lot of excitement is as usual when India-Pakistan meets. In your playing days, you've seen this contest very closely. As a national selector, you have seen this, how that intensity is. So what are your thoughts about every time India and Pakistan plays on a cricket field and the excitement around it, and everyone wants to come out as the winner? So what is the whole idea?
I love this rivalry, Ashan, and I hope that India and Pakistan play more often in such events. It's so good for the game. But having said that, I feel that my advice, if I may say so, would be to focus on the game and not get too swayed by the emotions. And I think all the Indian players right now, they have enough experience to understand that. Some of them may be playing the first time against Pakistan, but there are so many who have played on numerous occasions against Pakistan. On top of that, you have Rahul Dravid as a head coach who's had such splendid encounters against Pakistan. So the Indian team is pretty well balanced. They do have the right kind of experience to remain focused on the game instead of getting carried away by whatever is happening around the so-called rivalry.
Thank you so much, Savada, for your time. And it's a busy day for you, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks so much for talking to Sportstar.
Such a pleasure, Shine.
Yeah, and we all hope that India can defend the title and of course can actually go on to win the T20 World Cup. Take care, Savada. It was really great chatting with you. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.